They're in here. Come on. I don't know these people, but hopefully they give us shelter. It's starting to rain pretty bad. Yes, good morning from here in the creation station. And I have to say, I'm glad you're here. There's so many of you who are new around here. Waking up this morning, I woke up probably like 10 minutes ago, reading through you guys' comments. Thank you so much. It's just an honor. I appreciate it. I appreciate you guys being here, and I had to get that gratitude out there for you so you know that. But first and foremost, the weather is okay today. I have noticed here in the creation station, we have like a coconut tree. I wasn't even aware of that till a little bit ago. But today in the episode, we're going to talk about something that a lot of you might not believe. And this is something I know a lot of you guys are going through right now, or you'll remember when you went through this. And this is your first time overseas, your first time going abroad, your first time living abroad. And for me, this episode is about my first trip backpacking Europe. And I bring this up because when you're backpacking, there's so many things that are out there, so many things you can't control. And when I get messages from you all who are like, Luke, this is my first trip overseas, I'm nervous, I don't know what to expect. And that's exactly how I felt. You know, I was scared, I was nervous, and we're not even talking about the first time I went to Poland. If you guys have checked out my new book on Poland, this was just backpacking in general. You know, so before being a pro athlete, it was I fly to a country, I play 9 or 10 months, and then I usually stay for an extra month in the country and travel around and then go back home. And one year, I think it was my first year in Europe, I was like, I'm going to try to backpack Europe. Now, backpacking Europe is a little bit more challenging now, and people are always asking me, Luke, in 2020, 2021, what do you think it's going to be? I don't know if there's going to be hostels. I don't know what everything's going to be like, but before, even up until about 10 months ago, you could do hostels. You guys know who have been here in the vlog. You guys know I was in hostels all the time. You guys were in the hostels with me. And, you know, I remember going and having my backpack the first time. First of all, I packed way too much. You guys who are going to travel, it's very rare you travel and you're like, I wish I brought more stuff. It's always like, the less you have, the better it is. And usually you always regret and you don't even use half the stuff you bring. And that's true of me even right now. But when I bring this up, when I think about my first trip to Europe, I remember the night before I left. And I see a lot of you all who are leaving me comments about your first trip. You're going to make your first trip to Asia, or you guys had planned this year to make your first long trip. I know so many of you all go to like little countries, maybe 2 or 3 hours away. But going to a country that's far away, 10, 15, like for me, 21 hours away from home, it can be kind of like, oh my goodness. And, you know, for me, I just remember my first trip and how nervous I was the first day, how I was so worried that something could happen. I was worried that I didn't have enough stuff. Even now when I came to Bali, I was like, what do I need in Asia? I've never been to Asia before February. So I'm like, what's going to be needed? Like, and my mind was, okay, I brought hiking boots, I brought a compass, I brought all kinds of stuff. And when you get here, you realize that you don't really need anything. Everyone wears, the one thing, if you want to come to Bali, if I could give you guys a recommendation of what to pack and what to bring some sandals and flip-flops, a dry bag, and that's really all you need. You can get everything else here. People don't even wear shoes around here. I mean, I'm not even wearing shoes right now. But, you know, I bring this up to you because there was this mentality that, like, I was like, I don't know if I want to backpack and hop different countries, and it sounds fun, but what if something happens? What if I don't meet people? What if I don't, there were all these fears, basically. Fear. It was all this fear in my mind. And then I got to the point where I was just meeting people who were already doing it. And it's why I think it's so important to keep you guys, surround yourself with people who are doing what you want to do. You know, doing what you want to do. You know, so many times, even for me, I used to ask advice from people, but they don't do what I want to do. When I wanted to become a nomad, I wanted to travel, I was asking people who were working normal jobs and who didn't really travel outside of their country. There's nothing wrong with that. But at the same time, it's like, well, they're not doing what I do, so they're not thinking the same way. For me, so many of you guys have written me and been like, you know, Luke, I sold everything, or I've been, so many of you all are living here, you guys are expats in another place, and you're just like, I love it here, I sold all, and I'm always just like, yeah, that's awesome. But maybe someone else wanted to approve of that. So for me, it's always about making sure that you guys are reaching out to people who are doing what you want to do. That is so important, and we forget it so much. And So I reached out to different people who had been traveling, and they were just having the best time. They were telling stories, and I was just like, how can they even tell those stories? Like, you just met some random person, and you guys were just on the street having beers and laughing and having tapas in the south of Spain. I was like, that's amazing. I wanted little stories like that. And, this all like sparked something in me, and I was just like, I'm gonna let my fear. I don't want this fear of me wanting to do something. If it's a dream for you, like some of you guys have these dreams of something you want to do, and I know it doesn't make sense to the people who you're around. I know it doesn't make sense to your best friend, maybe the person closest to you. It doesn't make sense, but there's a reason you have that desire. At the time, if I were to talk to my old self who was going to backpack, I remember buying my first backpack. There was a reason why I wanted to do it. There was a desire. I wanted to see what was out there. I wanted to be curious. And as we talked about yesterday, because there was so much uncertainty and unknown, because of that, that made it so it was very possible for me to fail. There was a lot of things that could make it just not work out. But that's what makes you brave. As I heard this in the Jordan Peterson YouTube video. He's like, we get worried. We feel like we're not strong enough to do this. He's like, that's what makes you a hero. That's what makes you brave. If you felt strong enough to do it, you knew you could do it, it would be so easy, then where's the bravery? Where would be the bravery in that? So for me, when I went on my first trip, I was really nervous, and I was just like, I don't know what to do. All these thoughts came up. And, long story short, I just realized that it was my desire to meet people, my desire to travel, my desire to do all the stuff that really outweighed all the fears that came up. And to bring this story and make this give it a little more context before, I think I'm bringing you guys with me today. Before we go, this is a perfect example. And I basically, about a week ago, I spoke at a university. And it's one of the best things and awesome experience I've ever done. I've never had a thing where I've talked for 10 hours. As much as I love to talk over a 2-day period, that was a new thing to me, and I'm still excited about that. And in that story, I told this story I'm about to tell you now, but they didn't get to see what you're about to see. So basically here in the Creation Station, we bring food, and we put the food right here for our dog. So this is the normal. That's number one. Second thing you need to know is we usually go swimming all the time, multiple times a day. And we're always trying to get our dog's name is Luna. We're always trying to get Luna in the pool. We're trying to get Luna to swim with us. We want her to have fun, and she never jumps in the pool, ever, never. But we have to literally take her, carry her, set her in the water, let her be relaxed, and then she'll swim with us. She'll swim blah, and just have fun, but she never jumps in. So the other night what happened, we came home really late at night. And sometimes when we put the food out, if you can remember, when we put the food out over here, what happens is she eats it, but then she leaves it in the night. So then in the night, the ants come. So about a week ago, this place was packed full of ants, and we didn't see. And we fed her in the middle of the night, and we see her, and she ate the fish, and then she just started running like crazy. And we're just like, what's going on? What's going on with her? She looked like she had ants in her pants, literally. And honestly, that's what happened. We found out later is we put the fish here, and the ants crawled all over it. So when she went to eat it, while she was eating it in the dark and couldn't see, the ants were crawling all over her. And it was crazy because we didn't know that at the time. So at the time when she's freaking out, running around, rolling around, biting herself, we're just like, we don't know what to do. Something's wrong. Let's put her in the pool. So first thing I do is set fatherly instinct kicked in, and I'm even getting bit by an ant right now. That little ant right there. So basically what happened was she had these ants on her. So I just jump in the pool. I jump straight in the pool, and I say, Luna, come here, come to me. And she just sprinted, and she jumped in the pool. And me and Dana were looking just like we're shocked, what on, she never jumps in the pool before. And, Dana at that moment, she just was just like, yep, I guess her desire outweighed her fear. And I tell you this story because it was that's one of the best lessons I've heard in a long time, because you got to see it in action. A deep fear she had for swimming, a deep fear she had for getting in the water, but it was outweighed by the desire to get those ants off of her, number one, and a desire to feel better and to not be in pain, because she was trying to avoid that pain of the ants biting her. And this is a little bit of I guess I guess maybe since it is raining, we're gonna get on the road. We'll speak about it. Well, I'll bring you guys with me and we'll finish up in another place. We're just gonna change location for the next part. I love how this place is so off the beaten path. Well, it's off the beaten path and it's on a beaten path. This place might look a little familiar, but this is what I call the secret spot. Yeah, so of course this isn't the like perfect secret spot, and it's not named secret spot, but you can see why it is and why it could be Ubud's secret spot. Look at that. But as I said before, in about maybe possibly 3 weeks, all this will be cut down and harvest, and it'll be just kind of, it won't look the same at all. You'll see. But yeah, back to what we were saying. Well, let's get the coffee, we'll spin, and then back to what I was saying. Okay, and the rain has kind of stopped, but also you can see there right now, well, these are the offerings, but they're harvesting the rice, taking all of it down by hand. So this whole field will probably be empty, and I'm guessing about less than 2 weeks. But about what I was saying before, about pleasure and pain, it's something that's really important to understand. You will do more. I will do more. All of us will do more. We're wired like this. Of course, you can be rewired, but originally we'll do more to avoid a pain than to feel a pleasure. So maybe we feel a pleasure doing something, but because there's pain associated with it, we just say, forget it. Like, I'm not gonna do it. It's not worth it. I love having ice cream with these people, but they annoy me every time. And as much as I love ice cream, I don't want to deal with being annoyed. So therefore we put it off. And, you know, when it came to Luna and getting in the pool and fears, when the desire outweighs the fear, meaning that you want something so bad, you want this pleasure so bad that you're willing to forget about the pain, forget about the risk, forget about everything that could possibly go wrong there, because your desire is so strong, which is something that you can use to really fuel you in what you do. That's when you're able to do it. And you almost are like, how did I do that? You know, and always, I've talked about this before, anytime you tie an emotion, which an emotion really is just the end result of an experience. Anytime you tie an emotion to something, it really wires it together really strong. The example that I gave in this seminar that I ran was that, you know, if I were to say, hey, I need you to get out of your house because there's a fire, you'd be like, okay, you'd maybe grab your phone, grab a couple things, and you get out there quick. Now if I said, hey, I need you to get out your house right now really quick because there's a fire, oh, but there's a 3-year-old baby and a puppy upstairs, all of a sudden your emotions change. Because of an emotional charge you have, you'll run upstairs, grab the baby, do all this kind of stuff. This is how we work when we're emotionally charged with something. So you can see how, for me, when it came back to traveling and visiting and seeing around, I was like, I want to experience, I want to sit down, I want to meet people, I wanted to meet you all face to face, give people hugs, I wanted to sit and, you know, the things that I've done now when I look back on it, that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to be around Rome and walking around having pizza outside the Colosseum all night, or having watermelon outside the Leaning Tower of Pisa, or go to a 24-hour underground restaurant in Bulgaria, or go to a really cool pizzeria in Ukraine at 3 o'clock in the morning and stay there for 4 or 5 hours taking an online program. These are the things that I wanted to experience. And when I experienced them already before I actually did it, it increased my desire tenfold. Like when I saw Sorella Amor, she's a YouTuber. I hope you guys can hear me because of the wind, but look at this first of all. Look at this. I guess maybe we're gonna walk off on a little path. Actually, I don't feel like walking this way. Come on. Yeah, and for me, when I saw Sorella Amor in Bali having a coconut outside, she had a pile of coconuts outside of her villa, my mindset was there. Like, I saw myself in Bali. I didn't know how I was gonna get here. I didn't know when I was gonna come here. If you guys don't know, I came to Asia. My original plan was to go to South America, but at the last minute, because I met Russell here and he was here and I've been promising him I'd come out here and see him, and I finally had the opportunity. That's what led me to here. But as soon as I got here, I was like, that dream was still alive. I wanted to see like these rice fields. What I saw is real in real life. Like, this is like real. And it's almost like when you can experience that before it actually happens, that's when it just starts to come to you. And for me, that first backpacking trip, as much as there was fear there, Luna, come on. So as much as there was fear there and worry and how many things could go wrong, the desire outweighed the fear. So if there's a thought that I could share with you here, it's to, oh man, I'm getting stuck in the rain. There's a thought I could share with you here. It is to, when your desire can outweigh your fear, that's when the change happens. And if you guys know, it's rainy season right now, and I think we're stuck in the rain. So on that note, I'm about to sprint back to shelter. Actually, we're gonna get some shelter in here. Come on. I don't know these people, but hopefully they give us shelter. It's starting to rain pretty bad. Oh, wait. But on that note, I want to thank you guys for watching. I'll speak to everyone later in tomorrow's episode. In the meantime, everyone always remember to work hard, be brave, and don't forget to smile. Ciao. Luna, come on. Hey, come on. Can I just come here? Thank you. Luna.